Good afternoon. Notice of a public meeting of the Audit and Oversight Committee meeting January 9th, 2026. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the Audit and Oversight Committee of the City of Brownsville will be conducted on January 9th, 2026 at 12:15 p.m. at the City Commission Chambers located on the second floor, City Hall Federal Building at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Texas. Members of the public who submitted a public comment form will be permitted to offer public comments as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting. A recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Chair, it is now 12:22. You may call the meeting to order. I will now proceed with roll call, starting with Chair Francisco Orozco,
Present.
Mayor John Cowan Jr.,
Present.
Commissioner Nuranth Gerlonsky, Committee Member Herminio Guajardo,
Present.
Committee Member Susan Rubalcaba. We do have quorum, so we'll proceed to the next item. Next item, we have the public comment period. We did not receive any public comments, so we'll read the next item. Next, we have items for individual consideration. Item 1, consideration of approval of minutes from Audit and Oversight Committee regular meeting held on December 5th, 2025.
I'll entertain any motions. We have a motion to approve. Move to approve. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Item 2, City Auditor's Office update on A 2025 Internal Control Review Summary Report.
So our office has the internal control review program that we administer from January to December. We have an opportunity to go out to different departments, different receiving locations that take in city funds. And while we are there, we do review their internal controls around those funds. For 2025, our office conducted review of 8 funds located within 6 departments. This program, as mentioned, began in January, concluded in December, and will continue for the 2026 year. Hopefully, each year we are adding additional funds and receiving locations for review. Of the funds that were reviewed, they performed financial transactions. Staff reported they handled approximately 147,239 transactions, approximately valued at $2.6 million. The distinction that or what we try to highlight with this body of work is helping the departments understand that whether the fund is only $200 to $300, that the transactions that go through that fund, the controls need to be adjusted for that level of activity. The largest that we reviewed was the landfill, with about over 48,000 transactions, valued at approximately $1.8 million in funds received through checks, credit card, and cash. We were able to, when performing these internal control reviews, we offer recommendations. In this case, we issued 41 recommendations ranked between low, medium, high risk. This year we had 13 that, as we can see in the chart, 13 were categorized as high risk. And primarily we had some issues in the receiving portion that required attention. For example, checks not endorsed and received, key duties not separated. So some segregation of duties, responsibilities that we were highlighting that they needed to modify. Second, of the recommendations, we had about 49% or 20 of them that were categorized in medium risk. And of those, really, the most common was adjusting or developing written procedures that surrounded the different varied funds. Additionally, we had identified some issues on using the over/under account when when receiving at times, they may have an overage or a shortage, and there is an accounting procedure to address that. And another issue was performing timely deposits. Operational needs, sometimes some departments operate at 7 days a week. They just need to make sure that they're keeping in mind adhering to the schedule set by the Financial Services Department of next business day. Of low risk, we had about we had 8 recommendations that were categorized as low risk, about 19%, and they were quite varied, so there wasn't a particular category that they fell under. One of the most common one was having a plan B when the electronic system is down, is maintaining a manual receipt book. Financial Services does provide manual receipt books, so most of the cases were them just requesting a copy of it. This report will be made available to the citizens next week. Will be uploaded to our website, and they're welcome to download it and review this. But this concludes our 2025 internal control review program, and we are going to be beginning our 2026 internal control review program shortly. Later this month or beginning of February, we'll be doing unannounced visits to the departments to check the controls around their receiving locations.
Just for the record, we do have Commissioner Nunes Galonsky in attendance. Item B, recent updates to the Office of the City Auditor's website.
So when we last met, there were some elements that the Audit and Oversight Committee were suggesting for us to consider on our website. If you can go ahead. And part of that was really informing our citizens that some of their concerns that they would like to communicate to the city they might consider other portals within the city that do not deal with fraud, waste, and abuse, but might deal with issues on abandoned vehicles, code violations, high grass concerns. So staff was able to work with IT to modify our website to include links to the portals that currently exist with 546 Help, to the police department, or other resources that they might benefit from that deal with their particular issue that our office does not necessarily cover as it pertains to some concerns that are not related to fraud, waste, and abuse. So these elements have been added to our website, and we are going to continue to modify another portion of it to add additional context as well. As they move from the general page that provides this and they submit, or they hit the button to submit a report, we want to put additional context there of what is fraud, waste, and abuse prior to them submitting to us. But we definitely encourage citizens to utilize our web portal or give us a call if they have any questions. But this is already gone live, so we appreciate the feedback, and the majority has been implemented.
So, okay. So has the actual form, the reporting form, are you still working on that?
Yes.
As far as making sure that the drop downs lead them to the right places?
We're still, that's software that IT manages, so we need to schedule some time to see what are the options available on the actual form submittal. This would be the information prior to that the reader can see what may pertain to them and be able to utilize a different portal that might be more tailored to their concern.
Perfect.
Item C, 2025 Annual Fraud Awareness Training Participation Results.
As mentioned previously, this year we took a different approach to our fraud awareness training. Last year we had a single day, a single session of the fraud awareness training. This year we provided 2 sessions, a morning and afternoon session, and we provided resources and discussed topics with the attendees. We had
52 in attendance.
52 attendees within the 2 sessions,
18
and
departments. We had 52 attendants across 18 departments out of the 60 registered. We had 4 directors and 7 assistant directors. And we also had our chair, Francisco Orozco, in attendance.
Really, we had a lot of positive feedback from the attendees, and definitely the staff enjoyed doing the presentation. So we look forward to continuing this for 2026 and possibly expanding to a hybrid model. So employees that can't necessarily come and visit us in person could do so remotely through Teams or WebEx. Are going to try to work with IT to see if we can get that done for 2026. But it was well attended, and we were able to provide them CP certificates, the inner office to them. So we look forward to the subjects. And I don't know if the chair would like to.
I thought it was excellent. I sat through the morning presentation. I didn't stick around for the afternoon because I understood it was the same. But I thought it was great. And I think it should be mandatory. It should not be optional, in my opinion, just because I do believe that maybe not the directors, but the actual boots on the ground need to understand the importance of what they do and also understand their obligations as members of the city and employees of the city and keeping the public trust. It was very informative. I thought it was excellent.
And again, this is an addition to the efforts that finance does on their training. Purchasing does as well. They have some mandatory training for this employees that interact with their departments. So this really complements beyond that. But there is a coverage by the city manager's office and financial service staff and purchasing. So we definitely did receive some feedback. They'd like more sessions and additional days. So hopefully we can comply and be able to provide them opportunities to attend. This is the first year we had the Southmost Library, and we got a lot of compliments on the location, and quite a bit of attendance had never been there. So it was their first.
That for me too. I had never been there, and it is an amazing library. I thought I was so impressed when I walked in. I was like, yeah. It was great.
The library staff were excellent hosts. They were very they helped us out and whatever we needed, and definitely plenty of parking, great access to different resources, and we also had the health department come by and speak to the attendees on the wellness resources that are available as well. So it was very much a collaborative effort between our office and other departments, and we definitely look forward to this year. We can make it make it better every year after year. So.
Item D, coordination with external auditors.
So we have 2 members from CRI, Matthew and Jorge, and they're going to speak a little bit on their progress on the current audit right now.
Be here with you this afternoon. My name is Matthew Montemayor. I'm an audit partner with Carr Riggs & Ingram. I'm here with George Vasquez, who's a CPA and a manager out of our Brownsville office. And as your internal audit department just mentioned, I'm here to give you an update kind of on the progress and where we're standing with the audit. We are in-person field work actually right now. We got about 5 audit staff at different levels, senior accountants and staff accountants that are currently on the 3rd floor looking through some of the city accounts and performing some of our audit procedures. Just to give you a little bit of a timeline of how we started, we normally start with some preliminary planning field work, and that's our planning stage of the audit. And we started that process in August, and that kind of ran into September. We did do some in-person planning fieldwork dates back in August. I believe the date was August 25th, possibly was around that time frame. We're out here in person gathering information that we needed to conduct our planning procedures, primarily around internal control evaluation, doing some fraud risk inquiries with certain members of management and employees, reviewing board minutes, evaluating IT general controls and things like that. So we made progress in our planning procedures, and we did receive the city's trial balance. That is the chart of accounts that we audit for financial statement purposes. We received that trial balance from your city this year on December 12th, which is the earliest we've ever received it, right? And I think that goes to show your finance department is working diligently to close their books and give us a trial balance that we could begin to audit. Once we receive that trial balance, we're doing our final stages of our planning, which are evaluating, analytical procedures, right? Evaluating preliminary balances, establishing materiality thresholds, identifying significant audit areas that we need to audit. And we just got done this morning. Actually, I was scheduled to be out here today, and coincidentally, you were having your audit oversight committee meeting. I said, that's perfect. I could come out here and kind of give a little bit of an update. We met with Arnold and his team yesterday. But we just got done doing our engagement team discussion, right? And then our engagement team discussion involves all the individuals that are in the audit, and we discuss the risk associated, because the audit is risk-based, and we are heavily into the audit procedures. The goal and the deadline goal is to meet your regularly scheduled meeting in March for both the Audit and Oversight Committee and also the City Commission meeting to have a report in front of you. That way you could review, and we could do a presentation over the report, similar to what we've done in the previous years. Normally it's a PowerPoint, and it covers a lot of information in the report. It's a fairly large report, well over 200 pages. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. But we're working diligently with your finance department, and also updating your internal auditors also on the progress. But the goal in mind is to meet your March meeting and have that available for you at the conclusion of the audit. So far in planning procedures, I don't think there's any areas of concern that had kind of raised any red flags or anything like that. Everything's been pretty smooth, pretty standard. Items come up, we do discuss those with management and refer with your internal audit department as well. And those items do come up, we'll continue to do that. But we are making good progress, and we'll be out here for the next 2 weeks. Right, George? Next 2 weeks, I believe we'll be out here at the City of Brownsville finalizing our audit procedures. That's the update I have for the Audit Oversight Committee. Again, I'd like to thank you all for entrusting us with performing your external audit. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just more or less a timeline, when you guys think that you'll get to the process?
So the next 2 weeks will be in our fieldwork procedures, working through all of our audit procedures, confirmations, tested details. When we turn the corner into February, that's when we're hoping on drafting the financial statements, being sure all these financial statements are in balance, supported by note disclosures. That's really, we want to be in that stage of the audit process in February. And then the goal would be to have a report, either final or draft, in your hands within about a week before your scheduled Audit and Oversight Committee meeting, whatever regularly scheduled meeting that would be in March.
Yeah, because I think that's more or less what you guys did the last time, right?
Right.
I think in April, I think we approved it and it went.
Right. Last year, I believe the report was presented to the commission in March. March 18th, I think, was the date we presented. Report was dated March 18th. A long way. I think before, every year it's getting more timely. And March is the time frame that most governments aim to have. It's also a new requirement in one of the Senate bills that was just issued. You have to have your financial statements audited and available for public, right? And by the March 31st. And so that is where we're aiming to have it done for you guys, for sure.
I have a question. Besides the Senate bill requirement, are there any additional standards that have come into play since the last audit?
Yeah, so the good question, Mayor. So there is one new accounting standard required to be implemented this year. That's GASB 101. I was going to say 100. GASB 101 that has to do with compensated absences. It changed the method of the way the governments estimate a liability for compensated absences. When I say compensated absences, those are accrued vacation and sick time that gets used by employees. And so the standard now requires a different way of estimating that liability for compensated absences. It's what's more likely than not to be used or paid upon termination. From evaluating your current policies in the city, I don't think it's going to be a major undertaking since you already accrue 100% of vacation and sick time up to the caps that's established in the policies. But there will be a little portion that we have to estimate for what's more likely than not to be used for those employees that have over the cap. And so we're working with your finance team to implement that new standard. But that's the only new standard this year that's required to be implemented.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Item E, professional development.
So a new year and the shot clock gets reset for requirement of 40-hour CPE. It includes 12 government within the 40 hours and 2 of ethics. Our office is actively registering for the new coursework that is coming up this year, some of which is provided by the Association of Local Government Auditors National Conference, May 3rd through the 6th. Usually we put a good dent on CPE that time around. But we also have advanced procurement training that the city's hosting. I believe legal brought that training down. So we're having a couple of our staff members attend that in January. We were fortunate, and one of the other trainings that was brought down as well on construction management, which talked about how the city employees can track construction projects better, document that, and we really appreciate that. That was December 9th held at the main library. Very informative information. And also looking forward to some training by the Association of Internal Inspector Generals, that is coming up in March 9th to the 13th. We also, since we belong to several audit associations or fraud association certified fraud examiners, we also have access to online webinars that we'll be using throughout the year. So we're similar to last year, we were able to meet and exceed the CPE requirements. The last of which was the actual fraud awareness training that we put on. We also get to utilize that for our CPE requirements. So very fortunate on that as well. So looking forward to going through the different opportunities to make sure we increase our knowledge in the professional field.
Item F, adjusting the AOC meeting schedule.
Something for your consideration. We are proposing, if you wish to consider reducing the frequency of the Audit and Oversight Committee meeting to the current monthly. What we have so far in the ordinance and the city charter, it has a option of minimum quarterly. The bylaws is set at monthly. But we were in front of you are 2 options, whether we could, the committee could adopt the quarterly meeting schedule set by the city charter, or every other month, or we could leave it just the way it is as well. Or the committee can choose to just stick with a monthly meeting. But the reason we're bringing this for your consideration is by spacing out the meetings, it does allow for some of our projects to reporting on the progress of our projects that are longer in scope to be able to bring to you tangible completed tasks in between the meetings. And it also administratively does reduce the administrative burden in our office, and I'm sure in legals as well as we prepare for the meetings. But again, it's for your consideration to see if you may wish to reduce the frequency of the meeting from monthly to every other month, or possibly quarterly. In front of you are some of the dates that are associated. If it's quarterly, as you can see, would be a January 9th, April 10th, July 10th, and October 2nd. For every other month would be January, March, May, July, September, November. Definitely be.
Most of your projects, around how long does it take for them to finish? What is the average timeline from start to finish?
So for the internal control reviews, they're usually, since we've started this program last year in full effect, would take about a month and a half from start to report writing to issuing of the report. The audits are at a longer time frame. Those are usually about, it depends anywhere from, depending on the scope of the audit. So right now we're only speaking of the one we have, but it could be anywhere from 6 to 12 months to issue that. And the audits have more delineated bases from scoping to field work to reporting. And then throughout those of the audit, throughout the progress of the audit, that we would be reporting on our efforts as we get closer to concluding. And the other body of work that we have are any concerns citizens provide, and those we do not know when they come in, but as they are reported, we do present it to the Audit and Oversight Committee for consideration.
I mean, I think if we went anywhere, it'd be every other month. That's kind of I think quarterly is like too much of a gap. And that's what concerns me. It's like the citizen base. And how do we communicate amongst each other as to what we think needs to be a priority given a citizen request? And I don't want to leave it to where a citizen asks for something or points something out. It's serious, but we're not meeting for 3 months. And we're just going to kind of leave it there. I know you're not going to leave it there, but it's
right.
Us as a committee are not discussing.
And as included in the bylaws, it also allows for special meetings to be called. So if there is an issue that does need attention, we can reach out to the Audit and Oversight and talk about the different the concern that came up, and as long as 2 members of the committee, they can request a special meeting. Excuse me.
I think, is there a mechanism to inform the board when there is a citizen complaint, like via email, and then we can determine if there's a need for a special meeting?
Our current process is all concerns that are submitted are reviewed with legal for assessment. There's some, as we discussed in the previous slide, there's some that come to our way that aren't necessarily involved our office. It's just that they submit it in our portal. It could be a noise complaint. So those kind of items, if you wish to be notified on, we definitely could.
I would think that would be helpful, at least if you don't want to do the whole board, at least the chair and the vice chair.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's what I was going to say.
And then they can make that determination whether there's a special meeting.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it may be like the chair and the vice chair, and then but beginning at legal, like legal should advise you, hey, this needs to go to somebody, but if it's something unrelated, there's no need to say. If it's a barking dog, and okay, then there's no real point in getting it circulated, but
Right.
I think there should be some mechanism.
Our current-
And I do also want to point out that even those complaints that were sent to the chair and the vice chair, they must be presented at the next meeting anyways. Like at the end of the day.
Right.
So yeah, because if I say no or we say no, everyone else deserves to know that we said no.
Sure.
So we're held accountable too. So.
Right, and that procedure we have been developing with legal, and we have been providing updates on every element, every concern that has come in.
Yeah.
Since I've been fortunate to be in this capacity. So and one of the procedures, everything gets reviewed by legal, including concerns that don't necessarily involve our office. But yes, we definitely can add additional communication to the chair and vice chair on that as well.
I'm okay with moving to every other month, but I don't want it quarterly. And subject to that procedure being in place,
Sure.
I'm okay with it, but I'll let everybody else.
Yeah, I'll motion to have it every other month with the option of a special meeting as needed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
the green ones,
Because is the only, like right now that we had the presentation about the audit report, and that'll be in March, and it seems to be consistently in March. Is there any other thing that, always has to happen on such and such a month?
No, currently, I believe that is the only process that the Audit and Oversight Committee
Okay.
evaluates.
Or who, I don't remember.
So we have a motion, a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
And part of the change, we would need to modify or or adjust the bylaws. So that there is a process for that. It needs to go in front of the commission. So we'll be working on that administratively to do that. I think if we wish, if the committee still wishes to meet in February, we can. But if we adopt the schedule, then the only administratively, all we would do is cancel the meeting for February until the bylaws are passed, and then we reissue the new meeting dates with the city secretaries.
Item G, other items of interest related to the Office of the City Auditor. The next item, we have executive session. Chair, it is now 12:52. Would you like to motion to go into executive session?
Entertain a motion.
Second.
First and second, all in favor? Passes. We're in executive.
The following items will be discussed in executive session. Closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071. Consultation with the attorney related to the administrative procedures when reviewing the executive session items. Closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 related to the fraud analysis and hotline concerns received. Closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 related to Project Aberdeen. Closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 related to Sections 552.164 confidentiality of information regarding fraud and detection and deterrence measures. Closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 related to the one-year performance evaluation and compensation of the city auditor. Next, we have possible action on any items as discussed in executive session.
Be no action taken.
The final item on the agenda is adjournment.
Motion for adjournment. Do I have a second? Meeting
For the-
adjourned.
For the record, it is 2:42 p.m.